Welcome to the Hangardeck Podcast. We bring amazing aviation talk and interviews for the aviation enthusiast. You are listening to www.thehangardeck.com with host Pitchlock Pete and the Hangardeck crew. This show is brought to you by Leading Edge Aviation Consultants. Pre-flight is complete and the crew is strapping in. Stand by for Pitchlock Pete and the Hangardeck team at the Hangardeck Podcast. Welcome to this episode of the Hangardeck Podcast.
You ready?
Ready.
Ready. Hey, welcome back to the Hangardeck Podcast. I'm your long lost host.
You've been busy with work, man.
Yeah, work sucks. Yeah. So welcome back to the show. It's been a long time since we've done something together.
I think it's been like 4 months. I think we talked to TK last, right?
TK or I can't even remember. The website's going pretty well, and the Facebook posting is starting to step up again, thanks to Sean, you, Whitey, and of course, props out to producer Steve, who's not here tonight. He's decided to move back to Philadelphia.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Shake up over at the
Shake up at the joint.
at the big company, huh?
Yeah. But it's my Facebook feed is full of aviation, so I'm still following it. It's just, trying to find time to do something to podcast is so hard. But you know who makes it so easy? Sean.
Yeah, man. That
You're
dude
nuts.
is a road warrior, man. Him and what's his name?
Gabriel.
Man, we should have that dude on this show just to sit down and give us an update on the IAR 80 that he's progressing towards?
Yeah. Well, you were down there at Warbirds this year. Warbirds over the beach with Sean. Sean, you got your...
I did a lot of camera holding for him because he was doing a lot of stuff for himself and sending it. That's interviewing with pilots and sending it back home in his native tongue and everything like that. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because he knows us, so he'd come grab me and say, "Hey, can you come hold the iPhone for me?" And I was more than happy doing everything like that, man. It was cool. We had a good time hanging out.
Sean, are you like best friends with Gabriel now?
I'm getting pretty close. I mean, I've been to probably half a dozen shows since Warbirds, and no joke, every show I've been to, I've seen Gabriel.
That dude is, he goes to them all, man.
So we need a nickname for Sean. Sean doesn't have a nickname yet. He doesn't have a call sign. I think it should be something like Air Show Sean.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
We'll come up with something good, man.
Well, check it out. Welcome back to the Hangardeck. We're gonna start putting this stuff up on YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe. If I could figure out how to put a subscribe button on this screen, I'm gonna put a subscribe button on there. And dude, somebody leave a comment. What should we call Sean? Sean Sims, the air show guru that he is. So leave it in the comment section below, and we'll have some fun with that. So
I already hit TK coming up with a few.
Oh yeah.
You're not gonna like any of them. Either,
None of them, dude. So we're back in the studio, Andy. It's been a while. This place has had a tech refresh like 25 times since the last time we recorded.
Yeah.
Taking the equipment out, putting the equipment away. Taking the equipment out, putting it away, with hopes of actually doing a podcast or some kind of YouTube video. But we're back, and specifically, let's talk about the air show circuits, John, because you've got thousands of pictures in our backdrop tonight. Tell us about that shot that you took behind us.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, the RAF Red Arrows are in the middle of a North American tour right now. And just this last weekend, they were up at Stewart International in Newburgh, New York, where I had the honor of going to watch them perform. And they put on a pretty good show. They fly the Hawk T1 by BAE. There's 9 jets in the team. And one of the really cool features is they have multicolored smoke that they use. So they have red, white, and blue smoke, and they change it up throughout the show. Really, really, really dynamic team. Some great formation work.
Yeah, it's Andy and I were talking about it. These guys don't come to the States quite often, right? So when they do get the U.S. circuit, it's pretty amazing to go check it out.
You know, they've been in D.C., I think, operating out of Dulles.
Was that for the Centennial?
I don't know exactly. There was no, that I saw anyway, posted. I know they had an event at Udvarhazy where they were going to do a flyover and then have a couple of aircraft on the deck out there outside the Udvarhazy museum and do some Q&A with fans and everything like that. I thought they were going to do an air show event at Andrews when I saw DC on their schedule, but that didn't happen, I don't guess. I did see them. I don't want to say I saw them perform, but I mean, I mentioned earlier I was out of town, and we landed Sunday late afternoon, and as we were taxiing in at DCA, they were doing a flyover right around like 1700, 1800 or so. They were doing a flyover down the mall in DC, and a few folks on the airplane were pointing out the window, and I was wondering what they were looking at, and I looked out there, and and one of the gals had taken a snapshot on her phone and asked, "Hey, who are the?" I was, "Oh, that's the RAF Red Arrows."
Yeah.
Looked at the schedule online and saw that they were in DC that week, but unfortunately, I was. If they were doing a show at Andrews, I'd have taken a couple of days off from work and went up there. Midweek it would have been a military-only show, but with the base access, that would have been no problem. Head on up there and check it out. But no dice. That's the one European team I haven't seen is those guys.
Yeah. Right?
And I know they're heading from D.C., heading south, I believe, and I think maybe down around somewhere down to Florida. I believe they're doing a thing with the Blue Angels down in Pensacola. Don't quote me on that, but I'd have to pull up their schedule and take a look. But
yeah. From a guy that was there.
Sean.
I mean, if you're gonna see them, and you have a real desire to see them, I don't think Sean, you should take the award, the award for driving the furthest, the longest, and nonstop. Tell us about your trip, dude.
Yeah, it was kind of a whim to take the trip up to Newburgh. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I was on my way back from Connecticut with my wife and mentioned this show. They have a really great lineup: the RAF Red Arrows, the F-35, the Blue Angels, a number of other acts that were out at Stewart. And she said, "Well, why don't you go?" So I looked it up. It was about a 6.5, 7-hour drive from Pittsburgh to Newburgh, kind of the long way across Pennsylvania diagonally,
right?
Basically as long as you can go. So I left at 6 o'clock Friday night. I got in a little after midnight up in Newburgh, was back up at 7 a.m. to go to the show, hung out with a couple thousand of my closest friends watching the show. And those few thousand of my closest friends also delayed my exit from the show till about 7:30 that night. And I was right back on the road to come home because my kids had hockey the following day. So I got in about 2 a.m.
Nice.
But it was totally worth it.
That's Die Hard right there, man.
Man.
That's a Die Hard. I love it. And for us that run an aviation podcast, when Sean told us he was doing this, I was like, and I've only been the one this year.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it, dude, but I love it. We've got so much content that Sean has taken with his camera. He's post-producing that stuff. He's already sent us hundreds of pictures. Sean, we're going to create a tab on the website. It's going to be for your photography stuff. We'll drop all of your photos on there because I know Andy's got some great shots. John Breen's got some great shots that he's provided us. But quantity-wise, I think, oh my God, he's just 1,200 last weekend alone. So
yeah, a lot of that is multiple shots trying to catch that perfect cross. So Like the Blue Angels, the solos of the Red Arrows, they do cross maneuvers for the solos.
Right.
The interesting part about the Red Arrows is they actually have 4 solo aircraft. They work in tandem. So at one point they had 2 aircraft coming from the left, 2 aircraft coming from the right, and they cross at show center.
Yeah, that's
nice.
That's pretty awesome.
I caught the French team down in Pensacola a couple of seasons ago, and they run a similar setup with the if you want to call it 4 solos, and those squadrons, those teams, those guys, the Red Arrows, the French, the Italian team, the Snowbirds up in Canada, those large formation teams, they might not have the boom and zoom that the Blues and the Thunderbirds have with the frontline fighters, but those large formation displays are pretty incredible to watch. And I mean, you can totally appreciate, if you have any inclination at all about how airplanes operate in a tight space, man. That's some flying skill right there, watching those guys.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So you said the Blues are there. You've got these guys there. I think I saw some pictures that you had of any warbirds that were up at this show.
Yeah, they had an L-39 flying, and the biggest warbird that was there was B-25 Panchito, and they were actually offering rides throughout the day, and then performed in the show, did a bombing pass. The coolest shot that I have that I don't think I sent to you yet is during the I think it was during the F-35 demo, or maybe it was the Blue Angels demo. The ground crew for the Red Arrows were over checking out Panchito. They were getting a kind of white glove tour from the crew, so that was pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, Panchito has been around Southern Maryland a long time, working with the Navy Test Pilot School out here. It's nice to just be out and about and see warbirds flying over. Of course, we have St. Mary's Airport here, and that we need to reconnect with our friends over there and see how that project's going, right?
Yeah, actually, the one young kid there, Sam, he spoke with him a couple weeks ago, and they're getting close with the 2-seater Harrier over there for their first flight.
Well, Sam, if you're listening, then give us a call, man.
Oh, he knows. He knows, like, when they go, time for their first flight, we're over there.
Yeah. We'll take all the cameras with us.
Just to back up with Sean on the F-35 demo. First of all, what brand of F-35, A, B, or C, and how was it? They do a full flight demo like we're used to seeing with an F-16 or an F-18. Are they at that stage with that aircraft yet, operationally, or what?
Yeah, this is the inaugural season for the Air Force F-35 demo, so I believe they're flying the A model.
Yep. Okay.
And that in and of itself is an amazing show to watch. They have a full flight profile. They're doing all sorts of maneuvers. This is the first time that I had my ears ringing from a demo team with hearing protection in place.
Yeah, those things are loud, man.
That's a Pratt & Whitney, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. 40,000 pounds of thrust. The largest engine placed on a fighter in production so far, and you feel it as much as you hear it.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. We're back in action again. This is great, talking airplanes on the hangar deck. Let's see if I can get our sponsored commercial up. We'll be standing by. Hold on.
Aviators Hotline has been bringing buyers and sellers together for 39 years. The aviation community has come to rely on them to assist in the buying and selling of single, twin, and turboprop aircraft, as well as parts and services. Published monthly in print and digital format, Aviators Hotline is positioned to be your true marketing solution with multimedia options. Visit aviatorshotline.com or aircraftforsale.com for more information.
So, magazines, when it comes to magazines, I subscribe to a couple aviation magazines. Aviator Hotline, because we're helping them out, getting the word out. They send it free. But the Smithsonian, if you want a real airplane aviation magazine with some great articles in it, the Smithsonian Air and Space magazine is phenomenal. It's got all the stuff in it that if it's Korean War jet fighters, the MiG-17 and all that kind of stuff, Vietnam era, the buff. They'll talk about the buff. That it's amazing the editorial and writing.
Yeah, they got some great articles in that magazine.
Yeah. And then I've got Flying Magazine. It's more geared around pilots, and it's more geared around a lot of glass cockpit concepts, a lot of instrument flying rules, and all that good stuff. So, by the way, Fast Eddie and I have been, he's been real busy. So, I talked to him the other day, and he goes, "Hey, man, I want to come back on the show.
Get him back in here, man."
He goes, "It's a little crazy right now because, one of the major airlines had picked him up again."
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Good for
I'm not
him,
going to
man.
name who they are, but for just to let everybody know that Fast Eddie's flying planes again.
Nice. Good for him, man.
I think he's going on a Fifi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wants the podcast from his routes.
I think that thing's coming this way. Hagerstown, or I want to say it's coming toward the Maryland area sometime soon. So maybe that's.
Oh, not the Fifi. The
wait.
I'm
See, that's
talking.
what I'm thinking.
I'm talking
There's
about.
only one Fifi, dude.
There is only one Fifi, but what's the nickname for an Airbus?
Friggin' scare bus.
I think that because it's French made, isn't it? Or
it's a consortium.
It's a consortium of.
It's French.
It's mostly French, right. So anyway, he's gonna come back on the show, and it'll be good to have him back and talk. We need somebody to razz in here. We need a pilot to razz. That's always been good for the show.
That's what FEs do.
That's right. And Sean's no fun. He's all professional and stuff. He's got.
I'm new to the crowd.
You're new to the crowd. We got to break
Still
you
warm
in.
into the room.
Break you in a little bit. So the other show you went to that I'm dying to see the pictures of, and you just sent me a link to it. I haven't opened it up and taken a look. I'm dying to. I've seen some of the stuff you've put up on social media on your own page, but you went up to see this Corsair thing, right? This Corsair gathering.
Oh man!
Oh my God!
Those photos.
Yeah,
were
Thunder
great.
over Michigan this year.
How-
Every year they run a theme. This year the theme was Corsair crazy, and by golly, it was crazy.
Man, yeah. Some of those videos online, man, were just great.
Was Gabriel there?
Gabriel was there.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, he's a truck driver, so
Yeah. So
he's
he's
used to long hauling.
he's long hauling to the air show scenes. He's taken up. That's a great thing to do. Gabriel, if you're listening, give us a ring. Drop us a line. Leave it in the comment section where you're going to next, and when we can talk to you. That'd be great. Talking to Gabriel again. See where the IIR 80 program is.
Yeah, man.
That's
one thing I hope gets off the ground. Literally, I mean, I hope that thing happens.
Yeah, he's got some updates to share on that, so I think it'd be good to get him back on the show.
Yeah.
Cool, good.
Weird guy, is an aerospace engineer by trade, I think, and just floating around doing a different thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I know we talked to him a couple of years ago there, but immigrating over there to Canada. I mean, I guess the licensing and things like that.
Yeah.
You just can't be like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
I'm an aerospace engineer. Put me to work, But good luck to him, man. I really hope that the project happens, man.
Right.
God knows if I had the money to fund him, I'd float it that way.
And he's not
for him,
talking about just one. He's talking about multiples, right?
Well, yeah, you want to be building them and selling them, kind of like they did with the, like I say, with the
P-39s and the.
Well, you're talking about building from scratch, like the ME-262 projects,
Right.
or the what that other guy do, the Oscars out there, the Japanese fighter, building them things literally from the ground up. There are no wrecks out there to restore. It's literally whipping out the, like I said, when we talked to him, a partial, information that they had from blueprints.
Right.
And,
Well, I think
and
that's
then
the hardest part,
engineering it.
talking to TK and talking to these other guys that are owners and the CAF is this, you're not going to find many more. I mean, they're still
No.
searching for them, but, it's going to have to be a complete rebuild
Yeah.
with limited historical parts on them.
Mhm.
But nowadays, with technology moving to the next step, CNC machines and all this, technology, you're gonna.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope to see more and more
Even
of
if
it.
you had an actual one to do that 3D scanning on, you'd be putting yourself. I mean, it's expensive to do still, but I don't know if you've been seeing what Paul Allen's doing with that Stuka.
I was going to
project.
ask you that. That was the next
mean,
question. Did
that's
you see the
literally-
pictures he put up of the Stuka?
They took that thing off the ceiling of the Chicago Science Museum up there and 3D scanned in order to get, the gouge that they needed on parts, and went from there. And they're gonna have no kidding, flyable Ju-87 Stuka.
Right. Probably the only one in the world, right?
Man, unless you have money like Paul Allen has had that foundation,
Yeah.
That's
Well, they're. I saw the pictures you made a comment on. What is it? They just repainted the fuselage and some of the parts with a certain paint scheme.
yeah, they're getting close. I don't know what scheme they're putting on it. I kind of made a joke about putting the snake on the side because that's kind of a, well, as you know, I'm a scale modeler, so. We all have the running joke about every scale model show you go to, you see a Stuka with a snake on it, and
It's the most famous.
and then and they existed, but then some people say no, that was just. Some people say it was made up, that it was just doctored for the photos to make it look cool.
Right.
But no, they did exist as far as I can tell. But
I'd love to see
if
him put that.
If they put a snake on it, it would be hilarious to me. I mean, I don't, so.
Yeah, that's great. So, what do you think about that whole Stuka thing? You're ready to go to the air show it's going to debut at, right?
Yeah, wherever it is, I'll travel. I'm good.
So the next show you're going to is this weekend.
Yeah, I'm headed up to Cleveland. They have their annual air show on Labor Day weekend, right up on the lakefront there. Always put on a good demo.
Yeah.
I get to see the F-35 again, which I'm excited about.
So is the family going with you this weekend, or?
Yeah. So last weekend I realized it was going to be pretty tough, but I have twin sons. They're 9.5. They're 7 years into air show life now. They'll be coming with me up to Cleveland. I got them started up at Geneseo, New York, the greatest show on turf, when they were 2.5. And every winter, probably about early January, they start asking when air show season starts up, when they get to go back to see Geneseo again. We got some buddies up there that we hang out with every year. So they'll be coming along to Cleveland, and they enjoy it as much as I do.
Well, it might be a little bit too early to commit to it, but I did get the letter from the Military Aviation Museum about beers and biplanes, or biplanes and beers, or brews.
Yeah. When's that? October?
The first week of October, yeah.
That's not too far away, man.
No, it's coming up, and Boom Powell was just flying a new one of their new airplanes. Have you seen that?
No. What do they got going on?
You saw it, didn't you, Sean?
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
Let me go ahead and see if I can find it, because Boom's an amazing pilot, and a good friend of the show. I'd love to get him back on and talk about that event, because I know he flew it for the weekend with the music. There, he's got it on his Facebook page. It's what is it called? We'll find it. Yeah, he's got a big flame coming out of the engine. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. What do they call it? The Night Witch?
Oh, the Russian PO2?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know the museum has one, so maybe we'll get an.
They've had it. I don't think it's been airworthy. I guess now they have it airworthy then, or what?
It's airworthy, and it's Boom flew it last. Let's see, August 23rd he went up. That's last Friday.
Okay.
So that's pretty awesome. Good on you, you guys down there at the Military Aviation Museum, and TK and crew. Way to get that thing airworthy. That's pretty awesome. So, yeah. So you're going up to Cleveland, huh?
Yep. It's about a 3-hour drive, so it's not too bad. It's a day trip.
Oh, you could do that. You can put the 9.5 behind the wheel.
What's unique about Cleveland is, like I said, they're right up there on the lakefront, and the end of the runway dumps out into this little bay, and it's pretty impressive to watch the aircraft go off the end, especially the ones that have the aggressive takeoff, like the Blue Angels. They've been known to rooster tail a little bit off the end of the runway, so it's.
Now, what team is the Blues gonna be there? Is it Thunderbirds or who do they got?
No, this year their lineup, they've got the Thunderbirds are their headliner, and as I said, they have the F-35. They got the A-10 demo team. The Coast Guard always does a SAR demo with one of their helicopters.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the Sky Typer is going to be there. I seem to be following the Sky Typers around this year as well. The Geico Sky Typers.
Yeah, we did an interview with Sky Typers. Go check it out on our not our Facebook page, on our website, or of course over at what is it? iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, one of those things. They're all still up there. They're live, loud and proud.
If you go just to the hangardeck.com, it should still be there, right?
It is still there. There's a nice picture of Sean. I think that one's on our Facebook page. I'm looking at your shots there, Sean. Let's see. Finally, New England Air Museum and the American Heritage Museum finish up. There was a good biplane picture up there. Michael Wiskus is at the Lucas Oil Air Shows.
Yep. Mike Wiskus
with
the Lucas Oil. Yep.
And then Jim Beasley. What a beautiful. You seen this P-51? This bald eagle, they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Nice scheme on that thing.
Nice scheme on that thing. A nice representation of back in World War II. F-16 demonstration team. Yep, these are great shots, Sean, and we want everybody to see them, so we're going to get them up. Oh yeah, P-51 and the F-16 in formation. That's pretty decent. So awesome, very awesome. All right, buddy. So. We're back in the saddle again. That's a good, easy podcast to get back out there. Mm-hmm. So we did at the same time last night when I was talking to Sean, I got a messenger message from our friend Mo down at the CAF. Mo is on the board now, and I was talking to Sean about it. What board is that again, Sean?
I believe it's called the Southeast Regional Council of Air Shows, or something along that line, where they're gonna try and pool their resources for all the shows that happen down in the Southeast U.S. and gather teams together to come make the rounds and fit the schedules in so that everybody kind of gets a fair shake.
Yeah, it's the new Southeast Council of Air Shows, SECAS it's called. And we're excited because Mo's gonna bring in. Ron Carlson on the show and try to get a hold of Greg Gibson, the director of Sun and Fun. So, if we can get these guys on the podcast, I think, I'm really wanting to get the Sun and Fun. Every year, there's two shows that I keep saying I'm going to go to. Sun and Fun is one, and the other one is Oshkosh, and I end up missing both.
You never hit Sun and Fun when
No.
you lived in Florida?
No.
It's right down the street from you, man.
I was on a work trip to Orlando, and Sun and Fun was going down. And it's like maybe a half hour, 40 minutes south.
Yeah, it's like right there, dude.
And I could not break free.
Yeah.
So
well, shit.
Yeah.
You have that important all afternoon meeting you have to go to, right?
Yeah, whatever. They're all the same. Blah 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 blah.
You probably could have moved that meeting out to the Tarmac of Sun and Fun and got more accomplished.
That's my goal, man, is to have these
meetings. Hey
meetings.
guys, let's a meeting. Why don't we go get near some airplanes and talk about this?
Yeah.
just
Literally,
an idea.
Technology nowadays, you can carry a tablet and see any kind of PowerPoint on it. But it might be hard to hear with the jets and the props in the background. So we should get it.
We work around that.
Oh, I know.
When we're on site.
Yeah, say that again. This ear is not so good anymore.
Exactly.
So we're gonna have those guys and talk about SECAS on the show, and then. One show we keep talking about that we haven't done, and I think as we come to the end of a life of an amazing aircraft, I think we should do maybe even a series of shows, because I think it'll take more than one to do the Mighty Orion the benefit it deserves.
Hey, man,
You know?
I guess Whidbey would be the last place that they wrap up with those things. So if you want to go on a road trip, dude, we probably know some
Been to
people up
Whidbey?
there.
Ain't going to Whidbey anymore.
It's beautiful out there. Are you kidding me?
It is beautiful, but
Come
I'm
on.
from Jersey, dude. You know.
If we could be all right, if they were like, okay, we're having a sundowner right out here.
You got it.
You wanna, dude, get on the flight line, get out there for that ceremony. Come on, that would be epic.
You're right. It would be.
Maybe
we were at
maybe you take a bounce in the pattern for old time's sake.
Yeah, in southern, and we'll go around the room here in a minute. But you know, last night we had baseball practice out there at Lancaster Field in Southern Maryland, and Lancaster's all the way down at the end of it's down by the base, and they happened to be using the active runway last night that was flying directly over the ball field.
Nice.
And the kids were just like amazed because we had a P3 come in, and I was just staring at it because it's been 10 plus years. And then a P8 came overhead, which I thought was just, and you're talking 300-400 feet. That's in the landing pattern. And then, of course, the lawn jets or the lawn darts just kept coming and coming and coming. And kind of the Super Hornets just would not stop. They were in the bounce pattern all night long. And I even though it was hard to talk, I had a smile on my face.
I never had time playing baseball when I was a kid. That was going on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's fun stuff. So all right, Sean, welcome back to the crew again. Said we were going to get this thing moving, and it didn't take that much. So here we are. What do you got to say before you head on out for your next adventure?
I'm happy to contribute. Happy to hear that the podcast is starting back up again. I got lots of people that I've talked to that I know enjoy listening here, and I look forward to helping contribute as we move forward.
We got to find out where David Wong is.
Yeah, man.
Have you run into this guy yet?
I'm not sure if he was down at the
He
last
was at the New
Warbirds.
York Air Show, I think.
Yeah.
I saw him make some posts at the New York Air Show. But
I will tell you this. Sean and I went down there to Warbirds, and, we were there. We saw them unloading the Air Cobra and all that stuff. And
we haven't even talked about that.
We were just on site for photos and for Sean to get some writing material and things like that because, you had some family emergency going on. But those guys, there was a hole. They missed us being there and having us set up and doing what we do.
Yeah.
Everywhere we went, they would look, hey, where are you guys set up at?
Right.
And I'd have to, we're not. We're just here taking photos and gathering some writing, stuff for articles and things like that.
Right.
And they're like, no, man, you serious? And they're like, yep, sorry, man.
Well, we're definitely going next year. We're definitely going to go, and we're definitely going to set up. And, we've got this whole thing down to a science now. So,
yeah. Would have been great to been, like, I don't know, Facebooking Live as they were putting that thing together down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've been watching and I've been learning and about the technology and saying that, hey, we're going to get this YouTube channel up and running, and we're going to get it moving and keep the podcast going. We've got the podcast down to a science. Now we've got Skype getting pumped in, of course. Sean can see us loud and proud, and cameras are moving. So, just gotta figure it out. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right, man. Well, thanks, guys, for joining me. It's Wednesday night, the 28th of August. Let's see how long this takes me to get up on YouTube. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, man.
Hangardeck. Out.